Hello, Kristi.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, I'm really good. Tada. Before we start, I want to introduce my entrepreneur who will be here with us today. We have Brady, who will be my entrepreneur, and we have Kristi, who will be your entrepreneur. And this
Okay.
is
Hi.
Kristi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
We're going to have welcome to the Task Share podcast. And I'm really happy we were both able to accommodate our schedules over the summer, coming to
I
my
know.
podcast and eventually coming to your podcast and
Yes.
talking about A through D kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I I don't know if you want to share about what attempt you or what made you and your husband made a big decision about the move to Montana.
Yes.
Um, right?
We
Uh,
we moved from San Diego to Montana. We live in a small town called
okay.
Stevensville. And as of June 25th, we have been here for 1 year. And I felt like COVID got everybody, I think, to start thinking differently about things. And I think really look at your life, at least for me, it got me to look at my life differently and really think like, okay, is this the life that I want to be living? Is this an intentional life, or is this something that's just happenstance? Like I'm just living because of things happening versus being intentional about what we want, where we want to live. And I lived in San Diego because I was born there. And so I lived there for a really long time, 44 years. And I just wanted something different. And I had always fantasized about picking up and starting from scratch. When I'm talking about this, Kat, I'm thinking about where Cindy Busby, like where her friend or whoever it was lived in Unleashing Mr. Darcy, like that type of street in
Oh
New
yeah.
York. That's where I always envisioned, like, I'm just going to start from scratch and I'm going to move somewhere in New York in a brownstone that's probably way too expensive for me. That was just something that I had always dreamed about doing. And just kind of starting from scratch and having an opportunity to maybe not reinvent yourself, but be living like in alignment with who you really are, not bogged down by just, like just friends and family and your neighborhood and all of that. And so I just kept getting all of these signs for Montana. And I went to my husband one day and I said, I feel like, God, the universe, whatever it is you believe, I'm like, I just feel like we're supposed to move to Montana. And he said, okay, I've been to Montana. I like it. And I said, really? It's that easy? And and he was like, yeah. So it was, a year or so in the making. I mean, it took us a while to get here, but there's a lot that's great, and there's still some adjustments. But yeah, I'm really happy here. It's nice to be able to go for a walk and not hear like a lot of traffic and just hear like birds chirping. And it's very soul soothing, which is something I feel like I really needed, especially like coming out of just those couple years of craziness.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I feel like you and I are similar in so many ways. I mean, like you picked up and you moved without, with or without a plan. Some
Hmm.
people have the money and make sure you have able to move and all that. But it was like me. I mean, I've lived in Wisconsin my entire life, and I moved to New York for college for like 9 weeks.
Okay.
Did not like it at
No,
all.
you didn't like it.
I moved back home, and then I went to community college for a little bit, And I tried again, and then finally moved back out to DC. I went to California University, one of the top universities in the United States. So I stayed there for 5 years. I loved it. And then I moved with my husband, which was my fiance at that time, to New York for about 6 to 7 months, and we applied for jobs in Wisconsin because we both wanted to move to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved to Wisconsin, and then I was struggling trying to find a career in teaching, because daycare, to teach ABC, colors,
Right.
songs, and stuff. And then my friend was like, come work for the school for the doctor in Mississippi. I'm like, Mississippi? That down. And there's no way that my packers are gonna be on TV. So I told my husband, I was like, Mississippi, I mean, I will be making money and it's a career that try for 1 or 2 years. He was like, okay, I guess, sure. It was hard moving there. I mean, it took about 4 or 5 months for my husband to get the job while I already have the job. And then 1 or 2 years became 5 years because of the car accident that my whole family was involved in. And
Oh, I don't know about that.
yeah, my son was the only one that was severely critically injured. We almost lost him.
Oh my gosh, Kat,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Fractured, brain bleed,
Oh,
the traumatic brain injury, so that kind of sidetracked everything.
yeah.
While I was working there, they did not give me enough support to pursue my license for the Deaf Hearing teaching. So I just put up with them. I became an assistant, and I became a teacher, and I became a freelance from elementary, middle school, high school, all over. And then I think it was the 5th year I told my husband that I'm done because
Yeah.
school is just toxic and negative, and it making an impact on me and making an impact on us, you and me, and our marriage. And I'm done. So I already had a job waiting for me back in Wisconsin. So did my husband, and the old job. Well, how you do shit like this? Come back.
Right.
Got it
Yeah.
for you. So I gave my notice, and we moved right back home. And we're gonna be here. We're gonna stay here until my kids graduate high school or they go off to college. Then I might be moving back to Hawaii. That'll be my
That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
no. So
Were you just in Hawaii? You were, weren't you?
yeah,
Okay.
I missed it
For a wedding, right?
Yeah, my sister got married.
Oh, that's great.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, besides the family drama with my brother and my sister-in-law.
Oh, girl, there is always
Right.
drama. There is always drama with family. I get it.
Yeah, I felt like
Oh,
Hawaii was too early in the summer vacation for me. I wish it was a little bit more, like at the middle of the summer.
yeah.
But it was like I got off. I was done with work May 25th. We took off on the 29th, and we were hoping to be back in time for my kids' last day of school. It did not happen, and I was that happy. So
Oh.
yeah, we had to turn back a plane and land in Honolulu because of hydraulic problem, and then they
Oh,
canceled the flight, rescheduled, rebooked on a flight to Newark.
that's a little alarming. I'm going to take an
Honolulu,
opportunity to do a friend's reference here when Phoebe's like, there's something
Newark.
wrong with the left phalange.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Chicago, and then Milwaukee. But I told my mom,
That's
I'm like,
scary.
they're trying to get us to fly to Denver and then Newark, then Chicago. I'm like, no, I want to be
Oh,
home. My kids want to be home. So
yeah.
we figured it out. So we had to not really get back to our Honolulu hotel until 1 o'clock in the morning. I put my kids to bed. I went straight to bed, woke up like 8:30, got coffee, looked around the hotel, shopped. And my daughter was at Pearl Harbor. Could we go? I mean, honey, if we didn't have an early flight today, we would definitely go. But we gotta go. Especially with the Honolulu traffic.
I've never been to Hawaii, so it's not good traffic.
Bad traffic is bad. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's bad.
Yeah.
Like Chicago bad. Maybe worse.
I feel like, or LA. Like LA is always awful too. My husband is from LA, and LA where he lived was about 2 hours from where I lived in San Diego. And in San Diego, I feel like everything is kind of 20 minutes away. And in LA, I would ask my husband, like, well, how long does it take to get there? And he's like, oh, it's like 15 miles. And I said, no, but how long? Oh, an hour. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Too much.
I think LA and Honolulu are like up there with the traffic. Even if they have 4-way or 5-way,
I can't.
wrapped around, I think, 10:30 for our flight at 2.
And how far away was the airport?
20 minutes. Like in your husband said, it took us about 20 minutes to get from the airport, the hotel to the airport. And then we got in, checked the bag, and we got in. So we had like 2.5 hours, 3 hours to kill. So my husband and my son walked, got in, and then flew all the way to New York. And then my mom was like, we need to get on the next plane to Chicago. So they figured out, and she was like, the plane born to 30 minutes. I don't think we're going to make it. So we went to the customer service, got everybody ticket, 8 people. My boy, the mom, 7 people, so she had to redo all the tickets. And I was like, mom, the gate was like on the other end.
You have to run, like Kevin and his family in Home Alone. You're running.
I think I'm going to run. I've been out of shape. The mom I was so mad. Everybody was running my sister along. Who was running. I wait with you. I was like, no, just go. Because you can't run. Trust me, they're telling the baby, you can't run. Just go. And I got all the ticket printing. The lady goes, I need 2 more body pads, but you need to do it in Chicago because I don't have time for you right now. Go. And I started running. And I started calling. I'm like, can you take me there? My plane boarding like now. I can't go through there with the car. I was like, are you kidding me? So I started running. As soon as I got there, I was running. I gave everybody the ticket. Mom, no, I don't take that coffee. I do not want it. She goes, here. I was like, so I gave it to the lady on the plane. I'm going to throw it out. She looked at me. She's like, okay, ma'am. I was on the last row of the plane. My whole family was up in front. I was alone.
Oh my
38th row by the bathroom.
Oh, that is the worst place to be too. I hate being by the bathrooms in the back of the plane. I will take an emergency exit any day over being stuck by the bathroom, especially when someone's in there for a very long time.
From New York. I went from Honolulu to New York. I went like, oh my God.
How long of a flight is that?
Oh, 9 hours.
Oh,
Well, that's maybe 3 movies.
Did you watch any good movies then? Were there any good movies?
I watched Dune and wait, what the Marry Me with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. That was pretty good.
Was it good?
I can't remember, but
that's an interesting pairing. Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez. Like, that's not a couple I would put together.
for sure, for sure. So once I got back home, because if I was home on time, I would tell my husband, I love you, but I'm going to Kansas City. But I was
Yeah,
not home on time.
that's a bummer.
Yeah,
I
but
see you're wearing your Romance
my friends
University
doing that
shirt,
because
right?
that's okay.
You're wearing Ben's shirt. I love like all the like one, I just love how supportive you are of like Romance University and Ben and Tyler Hines, but I love like how supportive they are of you too. Like of you personally, not just like you being the fan, but you as Kat. Like I think that that is just so awesome. Like that must
I
just be
got
like
her
super cool.
that. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Now I know we talked about earlier about with COVID and the pandemic. So how did you get in podcasting? I mean, YouTube.
Oh, well, so I guess both my husband and I were working from home, and there was just a lot going on in the world, and I have opinions about everything. I don't always share them because a lot of the time people don't care what I think, and that's totally okay because I don't care what a lot of other people think. But my husband does need to listen to what I think, even if it has nothing to do with him. And so I would just see something on the news, or I'd see something on social media, or I would have an interaction with someone in my family. And I think a lot about things. And so I would go, and he would work in the sunroom, and I would go in there, and I would just start talking to him about something. And then I realized that it was pretty much just me talking for like 20 minutes, and he would just interject occasionally. And I was feeling like I was in a bubble because I mean, we were, right? I mean, we weren't really talking to a lot of people except like via text and social media. And so I was like, I wonder if other people are feeling this way about whatever it is I'm talking about, whether it's like how hard being a mom is, or not getting along with your siblings, or something along those lines. And so I just decided, since I liked to talk a lot, why don't I try to help other people through a podcast? And if someone listens to something that I'm talking about and they feel less alone, then I want to be able to do that. Or if they maybe thought one way about something and listening to me, maybe they don't agree with what I'm thinking, but they're more open to different perspectives because maybe the way I approach something isn't like attacking, and it's not judgmental. It's just like, this is how I feel about something, and this is why. Because I feel like in our world, what I see a lot of are people like instantly making snap judgments about people, and some of the examples I've used is like, oh, okay, well, you got the COVID vaccine and this is what that means, or you didn't get the COVID vaccine and this is what that means. And I'm just using that because that was like a really hot topic at the time. And it was just like,
Oh,
even
I
amongst
know.
people who got the vaccine or
Like an
didn't get the
argument today
vaccine,
with
they're they were different. Like their reasons were different. And it really opened up my eyes to thinking like, what's true for this person doesn't necessarily mean that's true for this person over here. And we can all have like a different perspective on things, and it doesn't make one person right and it doesn't make one person wrong. It just means that we're different. And I think when you're coming from a place of just being curious, like just wanting to ask questions, it comes across differently versus if you were asking questions because like you want to judge somebody, or you want to say, well, I'm right and you're wrong. And I feel like what the world is really lacking right now is just that curiosity and that desire, that true desire to even try to understand someone that you think thinks differently than you. And I feel like we all have so much more in common than we do that's really different. And if we take time to get to know people that we think are different than us, I think we're going to find that we have so much more in common. And that allows us to build a foundation where even if we don't agree, we can understand. And even if we don't understand, can't we still decide to respect someone as just a human being? And speaking with different people, you know, I mean, not everyone that I've had on the podcast, like, I don't necessarily share their perspectives, but I can still respect them. I can still love them. I can still understand, okay, this is why you think this way, and that's okay. And again, I don't have to agree with you, but that doesn't mean that we still can't have like a good relationship, you know? I feel like we all have so much to learn from each other if we would just take our ego out of the equation and just look at people as just like, I'm just a human being trying to do the best I can, and I'm going to F up sometimes, and that's okay. And you're going to F up sometimes, and that's okay too. So did that answer your question? I do.
Yeah, you and I are pretty much on the same boat, on the same picture with the podcast. I mean, my idea of a podcast happened right after what Palm Beach drama. But I was like, no, I can't do that. No, because I'm a full-time mom with a special needs kid, and I have so many students that I couldn't do mine, and a full-time teaching and the overtime
Yeah.
half the summer. I have not worked since I did 3 summers, and then I'm only working the summer, and then I'm not. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to run, walk, podcast, family, travel. I'm not interested in working. And we save money through the year to make sure we're okay in the summer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But with the podcast, I agree. I feel like everything, so many things. George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery,
Mm-hmm.
and Black Lives Matter, and the attack on the Capitol with Trump and the whole presidency, and then COVID, and it just made people close-minded. They were like, oh, I'm not going to do this. Oh. And I was like, okay, this boy was just doing a 3-mile run. He wasn't doing anything wrong. And George Floyd showed him for 2-3 minutes when you were not trained to do that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And the whole thing with LGBTQ, you know.
There's a lot. There's a lot that I think has divided people. And I think, yeah, I mean, I feel very similarly. And so I feel like that's why I think it's really important to just kind of take away like really all the crap and just strip everything down to basics. Like, who are we at our core? And then, you know, just like a kid when you're like building blocks, it's just like, what are you at your core? Who are you? Like, are you a sensitive and compassionate person? Are you funny? Like, what is your value system? What is your personal belief system? Also, what I've learned a lot about too is like what beliefs are actually mine versus what has the media told me I need to be thinking? What has society or like our culture told me I should be thinking? What have my family and friends told me I should be thinking? And does that really align with like who I really am? Because there were things that like I believed even just about myself. And, you know, I'm talking like self-esteem, self-worth stuff. And I realized, especially being a mom now, that so much of that stuff didn't come from me. It came from my mom. And then she got it from her mom. So all of this stuff, I'm like, what is really mine? And like, what's really yours versus what do we think is ours, because we don't really sit with it long enough to really like question it and decide who we are at our core and who we want to be. And yeah, so I feel like it's very similar, like you said, like there's just been so much noise.
That's why I try to like slowly branch out my podcast away from Hallmark into topic like that everyday topic like I'm working on that culture and that awareness right now is a big thing. So I'm trying to like
That's
picture like
awesome.
what I want for me. So that's gonna happen. I'm gonna need to make sure I have my team of interpreters, maybe 2 or 4 interpreters, because I'm trying to see if I'm gonna have people coming in and out my Zoom podcast or have it on YouTube live and then
Mhm.
answer whatever on comments because I feel like people don't take that culture or that individual seriously or they have clueless about it and they
Yeah, I think
how to
there's a
act
lack of awareness.
or
Yes.
approach. So that's what the whole COVID thing is my actions and I'm just like, so I will bring a notebook or use my phone. I'm like, if we have a plexiglass, I'm like, I know we have a plexiglass, but I can't hear. So I could read
Yeah.
it. Mine, put the mask down. Tom cooperated. Tom was like, I was like,
Oh, that
I was
must have
like,
been super
hey, Dan,
frustrating.
I'm moving on.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, like, I'm going to get weepy because I'm just emotional and you know that. But I feel really fortunate to know you and to have connected with you and to have established this friendship. And one of the things that us having this relationship has done for me is make me very aware when I post stories and I post reels to have captions.
Yeah,
And that was something, Kat, that I didn't do like consistently before I met you. Because I mean, I will say, like, I was very ignorant and I was like, well, if you can't hear something, why are you on Instagram? Like, that was seriously my thought. And so when I met you, and it wasn't like it wasn't coming from a bad place. It was just I was ignorant, you know? And
yeah.
so when I met you, I was just I just was so like fascinated and I am so impressed by you, like everything that you do. And because of you, I like that I think like maybe 1% of the time I'll be in a hurry and I'll forget. But I will say like 99% of the time, I always have you in the back of my mind when I'm creating something because like I know you're watching and paying attention. And I know that there could be other people out there that I'm not aware of. And I want them to feel included. And so I just want to say thank you for that because I didn't have that level of awareness. And it's just kind of like, you know, like sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And so it was just nothing that I actively thought about. But I'm so grateful for this relationship with you because it did make me think about that. And so I just want to say just thank you.
Anytime I personally myself have to get better and get back and think because I was raised oral and I did not learn sign language until 3rd grade when I
Oh,
had a
wow.
friend from summer camp. It was a summer camp with that's a holiday period, any disability can whatever, you name it. So I met my friend there and we were right back and forth. And then one day it's with her, I'm going to teach you how to sign. I'm like, fine. I started learning sign. It was exact English. It was a word for word. And then slowly grew up, got older, learning more. And then I went off to college, got down to university. I was like, no parents. Nobody could nag me about my username. So I took off my username, turned off my voice, and started signing. And by the time I came home for Thanksgiving, I saw my second mom, my beautiful second mom, interpreter through middle, middle school and high school. And she was like, I'm like, what? Did I sign something wrong? She goes, you are pure American Sign Language. No more English or word for word. I could just cry. I'm like, want me to go back to English? She goes, no, just keep signing what you do.
Oh,
So I have a hard time. So I started signing all that stuff. But now sometimes I do Instagram Live. I had one person, she like me. and she completely did a 180 about that person and anybody listen, without accessibility, I'm not interested. If you get me at that with my language and all of that, no problem. But I started going on live, I think, talking about drama, really sure. I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
he made a comment. You think that you are ableism, you are against it all. You just, I don't know why you started talking, not giving your language lessons. And I was like, honey, I was like, okay, first of all, the Instagram automatically has live
Yeah, that has the
after
captions.
you post them, not during. So that's Instagram kink they need to work out. And second of all, I was raised oral, and I have a hard time doing talking and signing because it doesn't necessarily match up. So it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, I blocked her. And I asked my
Yeah.
friend, I mean, she's always like this. She goes, we're going to have her talk about it later because I'm not surprised she did that. So let her stop you from doing all of that. You're
Mm-hmm.
not the only one that added captions on your post. Shetty Hutch started doing that. And I was like, not in fact, I was like, thank you for doing that. It was not a problem. I feel like if I have a dark person like I met, I should start captioning my stuff from now on. I
Yeah.
will do my best. And when Tyler Hines and Bud Ashthorpe did a live for their Shamira project.
Didn't he say he was like, he was thinking of you? Yeah.
Caption.
Mm-hmm.
And then he messaged me right after because I told him I'm like, the Shamira movie was captioned, but the YouTube live
I
was
remember.
not captioned
Yeah.
during live. He was like, oh my goodness, but you got the movie caption, but I got it all worked out for you, Cat. You came on my mind.
Yep. I remember seeing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got me.
But I think like that is, I think, such a beautiful organic way to like raise awareness. Like I said, with you and I, it was just nothing I'd ever thought about. Honestly, I was like, oh, I think people use captions when they're looking at Instagram at work. They can't have the sound.
Yeah.
But then once I got to know you, I was like, oh, I want to make sure that like she feels included. And so I love that, again, you had that impact on me. And yeah, like Tyler Heights, I remember seeing that and I was like, dude, that's cool. Like that's
like,
pretty awesome.
oh my God. And Whitney Woodstow, I got a hold of her after the Love Club doing. Her movie was subtitled the caption, but the other three were not on Amazon or
Okay.
on the TV app. So that I will figure out what we could do with that. Can I happen? Thank you for letting me know. So I watched the other movies on my phone because they had the caption, live caption bubble. Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that helped, but not necessarily perfect. So I was able to watch the rest of the Love Club series on my phone.
You know what I have noticed though? Like sometimes I think it's good on like Hallmark, but there are other shows where I'll just have the captions on. Like, I have no idea why. It's just sometimes I don't understand what someone's saying. Like, I don't know if my brain is tired or what. So I'll just have the captions on. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, these are awful. Like, the captions are just chop. Oh no, I remember too when I would get my nails done. They wouldn't have the volume up on the TV. They would just have the captions and I would get so frustrated. I was like, this is so annoying. Like, why is it so awful? And like I said, Hallmark, when I do have them on, I mean, obviously, like you're more of an plus, I don't even watch Hallmark that often, but I feel like they're okay. But other channels, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just pathetic. Like, you need to be better at doing this.
Yeah, sometimes the YouTube capture like after the live, but I posted up like some are not perfect almost. And so yeah. So
It's
that's
it
why I want
it
to
frustrates me because, you know, I can hear it if I want, you know, but it frustrates me for people who can't. I'm just like, this is just terrible. Like they need to be better. And I don't know how to make that better, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So that's why I try to branch out with all of the podcast with all the different topics that culture, special need mom, or teachers, or whatever it is, just a little bit branch out. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like you, be out there, and then if people don't agree with me, that's fine. I have a lot to say, whether you like it or not. No.
Well, and I think that's what we need to. So I'm obsessed with the 90s. Like I know I'm a little bit older than you, but I've been listening. So one of the new podcasts that I've been listening to is called like Hey Dude, the 90s called, and it's hosted by like Ben Stiller's wife and then the guy who played Mayim Bialik's boyfriend when she was on that show Blossom. And one of the things that they talk about a lot is just like how, we all have many of us, I guess, have the nostalgia for the 90s because it was just like, it was a simpler time. We didn't have social media. But it was also like people were just like kind of more tolerant of people's if someone's opinion differed from theirs, and that's something that I'm just like, can't we just get back to a place where I don't know, maybe I was young so my perspective on it was different, but I'm just like, you know if someone's opinion differed from yours, like it didn't instantly make someone wrong or someone right. It didn't make someone bad and someone good or better. Like we were just different and we celebrated that and we appreciated it versus like condemning people or wanting to burn people at the stake because they didn't agree with us. And I honestly feel like I don't want to live in a world where I'm surrounded by people who think the same way because then I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to learn,
Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, I look back at my childhood and my education and all that. I was looking back. I'm not saying now, and I'm just damn that. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I had a lot of support and a lot of support in school and from my parents, and I was raised right, and I knew my values. I knew the difference between what right and wrong. Uh, Follow the rules. Don't follow the rules. That's the law. That's not the law. But today, it's just like so I feel for my children's future. I'm a huge parent advocate for my children,
Mhm.
especially when it's mental health, bully, um, self care,
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. Oh, let's be an older day. Let's shoot them. I feel that every single day. I would think that we didn't really have it that bad back in the 90s or 80s. So I know the generation changing, the shift changing, politics, pretty much. Yeah, politics, pretty much.
That's all you
I'm
need
not
to
going to get into
say.
that right now because I don't have my back, but I know I'm right when it comes to politics. But
It's just a lot. Like it's a lot. I feel like it just infiltrates like just so much. I feel like it leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, for some of the same reasons and for different reasons. And yeah.
yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah, it's all good. We can talk more about it on your podcast. But now we're going to dive in. Hallmark. All
yes.
right. Do you have a favorite Hallmark movie in general? You can name a couple. Or do you have a favorite Hallmark Christmas movie?
Okay. So I have two Hallmark Christmas movies. They're a tie. So one is Christmas at the Plaza, of course, with Ryan Paevey. But I feel like I like that because it's the magic of New York at Christmas time. The Plaza Hotel, which I've wanted to stay in ever since Kevin McAllister stayed in there in Home Alone
Oh
2.
yeah.
Um, you know, it's just, and it has like Ryan Pavey, and it's just Christmas. And then the other one is like Candace Cameron Bure's Christmas Town. Just because
Yeah.
I just liked the story of like the, you know, the adoption, like the fact that she was a foster kid. And you know, I'm getting goosebumps, like the line that she says, you know, towards the end when she's like, you know, I also know what it feels like to have nobody stand up for you. And like I have chills. And I just thought that was like so beautiful, because even though I was not a foster kid, like I can relate to that statement just from my family in general. And I thought it was just really cool, you know, having an older kid be adopted. Um, you know, the charity piece that they threw in there about like, you know, helping out the people from the neighboring community. And like you had the love story. And I liked, who is that guy? He was in a movie with Jodie Sweetin too, which I thought was really funny because he was in with like the Full House sisters, Tim Rozzo, I think. And I like him because he's kind of an unconventional leading man. You know, he doesn't have like, I think he's very handsome, but he doesn't have the same look that a lot of Hallmark's like, you know, leading men typically do. So I liked that he was unconventional, that he was very like soft spoken.
Mhm.
You know, and then I loved like the kind of zany women that worked in the diner. So it just, and I, one of my favorite parts of that too was the fact that like her dad gave her the angel, the wing broke, and you know, he had the wing. And so I'm getting goosebumps again. And it's just like, to me, it's a reminder that there is a power greater than us, like kind of overseeing everything, and that things aren't a coincidence, that things happen for a reason. And you just have to kind of trust in that and have faith. So Christmas at the Plaza is my favorite movie for one reason. And then that's why like Christmas Town, it just hits my heart in a different way.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That was a really good movie too. I watched. I think it was on earlier today or yesterday. I can't remember my days. Or like, but I really loved. And it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Okay, so I have seen that in bits. It was on today, I think. Or yesterday. My days are kind of blurry too.
Yeah,
But I remember like I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen it like in one fell swoop. So why do
I
you
will
like
watch
that?
that movie every year.
What
I
do you
will
love
watch
about
that
it?
movie. I like one of my favorite part was probably the uncle. Henry Winkler was
Yes.
perfect. He was like find way to play along with his niece. And then he knew that the guy was the right for her. So he was like trick her. Oh, then further snowed in. Try to get the guy to stay over
Yeah.
and over until the end she realized, he's not the guy for me. I should love her. And there was another character I can never get sick of watching. Matchmaker Santa.
Who's in
With
that?
Lacey Chabert and Adam Mayfield.
You know what, Kat? I haven't seen that one. I think it's on my DVR, but I haven't seen it yet.
Now you need to see it. I mean, I could just because when I first saw that movie, I was all like, Lacey and Adam Mayfield are spectacular together. They need to get another movie
And
together.
that's an older movie, right?
Yeah, old movie. I can't
Okay.
remember what year. Hmm. I don't know. I don't want to say the year wrong, but yeah, it's old.
Okay. Lacey is my husband's Hallmark girlfriend. Like Ryan Pavey is my Hallmark boyfriend. He's like, Lacey is my Hallmark girlfriend. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Do you have a favorite Hallmark pairing?
No, I think
You can name a couple.
I'm okay. I do like Nikki and Andrew, but I also like Nikki and Ben.
Yeah, Nikki and Andrew. All of their movies are just like magic.
Hmm.
And then Nikki and Ben. I also like the new movie, The Wedding Cottage with Aaron Krakow.
Oh, yes. Yes, they
to
were a good
see
match.
another movie together. Those two listen cracked me up. The entire movie, my favorite part was the moose and the leaf blower.
Yes. Yeah.
That.
Yeah, and I feel like Brendan Penny, I haven't seen him be like as funny as he was in that. Like I thought his comedy chops, like I was like, they're really shining through here because I just don't see him as kind of this funny guy. So it was nice to see that also with her too, you know? So yeah, that was a really good one. I
And I
liked that.
also like Ryan Baby with Cindy Beckley because when I see Ryan Baby's name or I saw him at Rama Drama, I went up to him and like, hello, Mr. Dusty. He started laughing out and thought, you could be Mr. Dusty to me. You know?
Yeah. I think he's going to be that a lot. But I will say I liked him with Ashley Williams in Two Tickets to Paradise.
Yeah.
I thought one, I just like her because she reminds me of me. Like she's just so quirky and fun. And I love that she doesn't seem to take herself like seriously. But there was something about like their rapport that seemed just very like natural. I want to say maybe not necessarily romantic, but they played off of each other well, you know? And
Like
so,
pushing her to be more open and she
mhm,
don't need a lift. Just
yeah,
do, you know?
yeah.
It was really, really good movie, yeah. I bought Black and I was able to see the premiere last
I
time.
know. That's so awesome. That must have been really cool.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Do do a movie that you like, turn it on, you think, oh, a good movie, but could not get through it. Turn it off. So maybe you try to watch it again, but no.
I feel like there's a lot, but I think it's just because I'm a mom to a 5-year-old and I don't have a lot of time. Um, I nothing's like coming. No, there was one. What was it? It was like a Christmas. It was a Christmas one, and I can't remember the name, but it was this past holiday season, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and I just couldn't get into it. But I'm like, I'm totally spacing on the name right now. That's not helpful.
There was one for me. I think it was two Christmases ago. I don't think it was this past Christmas, but it was a Christmas. A Christmas. My boyfriend passed.
Oh, okay. I think that's it. I think that's it.
I
Yeah,
tried. I couldn't
I
keep
just
it
couldn't
back.
get
All
into
the
it.
boyfriends looked the same. I was like, okay, she ended up with this one, but she wanted to end up with him. But I, I
It just
watched it. I turned it off. I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish it. But I
and
let
people
finish the
didn't like
movie.
that, right? Like people weren't fans of that.
They did. Some liked that. I was like,
Oh no. Yeah, that's probably the one I'm thinking. I think I tried to turn it on like 3 or 4 times and I was like, I'm just done. Like I'm not it's like, when you start reading a book and you're not into it, like time is valuable and you can't get it back. So like if something sucks and it's painful, I don't want to keep doing it. Like I'd rather enjoy what I'm spending my time on. So yeah.
there was a movie and there was a book. There was a movie. I liked the movie, but I did not like the book. I read 2 or 3 chapters. I could not get into it. No, it was called Weirder Than Shocking.
Oh, okay.
The movie was about when they were trying to Cupid love that chocolate and then when you they take the chocolate and they fall in love with the that person in the store.
Oh, yes.
That
I
movie was
remember
good. But
that.
the
That
book,
was a cute one. Yeah. The book
I
wasn't
can't.
good.
The book was like, no, I can't. No. So I didn't finish the book. I gave
Well,
it
I
away
didn't
pretty early.
realize, I think, until I started following Dara, like how many of the Hallmark movies are actually based on books because I just started to get back into reading, and I just don't read those types of books. But I didn't realize, like, I know like the Blueberry Farm one, like I think it's really cool. Like she had that book club, but I just, again, something else I was ignorant to. I was like, oh, I didn't even know these were from books. I just thought someone wrote a script and there you went.
One of my favorite books that I really, the book is really good at the movie, but the book, of course, had more was the Sweet Autumn in the Barnyard with Brendan Pendy and Rachel Lee Cook.
Oh, I
The movies are good. Oh, you didn't like the movie? Okay.
no. And the funny thing is,
you.
I love Rachel Lee Cook because I grew up watching She's All That. So I love Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah.
I could not get into her character in that movie. The one that I did like her in was the one, what is the name? With Travis Van Winkle. That one I liked. Yeah. And when he doesn't have his shirt on. Oh.
Was Merry Bright Christmas, I think.
Yeah. And no,
The other day.
Yeah. But that one, because I was a little on the fence about whether or not I wanted to watch it, because I haven't been fond of her for some reason in the Hallmark movies. Like it's been more than just that one, but I really like Travis Van Winkle. I think the very first Hallmark movie I watched was Christmas Getaway with him. And I don't know what her name is, but she's beautiful. And they accidentally have the cabin at the same time. And there's that weird porridge thing with the almond. And like, I think, so I have like this soft spot for him because, I mean, yes, he's very attractive, but too, like he was in the first Hallmark movie. So when that one came out, I was like, it looks cute and it has him. So I'll watch it. And I liked her in that movie. But She's All That is still like, that's still my my favorite Rachel Lee Cook movie.
Yeah, I know, I will watch that because of Freddie Prinze Jr., the 90s.
I know.
The book with that movie, the book is really good. I mean, I read the book, and I think I read the other book too, Valentine to the Vanguard or something. That one was okay. I feel like they make.
Yeah. So
do
do you think, because I know a lot of people, I feel like they're getting better, but I know for a while, like people felt like the quality of the films had kind of gone like downhill. Do you, like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you agree?
I think it's like getting a little bit better, but like some of the movies are hit or miss. So like same thing with Great American Channel and Up TV, hit or miss. Good movie, not so good. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Competition with Great American Channel and Hallmark, and people are going there. Don't you like?
Yeah. I will say there were a couple on like, I think it's, I say GAC, but I think it's like Great American Family. But there was last year, I think one of my favorite Christmas movies on that channel was Destined at Christmas. So it was kind of, have you seen Serendipity with Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack?
I think. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So that is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's funny because they have so much chemistry, but they're really not in the movie very often together because the whole movie is them like trying to find each other, realizing that they're meant for each other. So Destined at Christmas was very like similar to that. And I really liked that because it felt like serendipity to me. And then I think the year prior, there was one with Jenny Garth and Cameron Matheson called A Kind-Hearted Christmas. And I really liked that one too. I liked the message. And then of course I'm just like, oh, you know, so you have like that nostalgia element. But I thought that was a really cute one too. But I can't get into their movies like I can Hallmark. They just feel different to me.
Yeah. I think Hallmark getting a little bit better, what don't, whatever, because for the cameo, people were waving over the cameo for
Yes.
my family Christmas tree, unexpected Christmas, three white men and a baby, 9 live kittens at Christmas with Kimberly, Paul, Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
and some other
It's so
cameos.
fun.
I think are gonna become a thing now.
It's like a fun little surprise, you know, like I think, yeah, Haul Out the Holly when Christopher Palaha was at the end. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it
I
was
didn't even
it was
realize
so
Kurt
fun.
Palaha, but then I tried to watch it again. Oh, Chris was in that movie too.
Yeah. It's just like a little Easter egg, and I just think it's like it's super fun.
Yeah, but time is coming near to an hour, so I wanted to give you a few minutes of you if you have any questions or comments or anything curious, feel free to ask.
No, I'm going to save my questions for when you are on my podcast. But I just wanted to thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm just so happy that like we're actually chatting live. And I hope there's a day when we can meet in person. And so I can give you like a big hug because I get super like
Yeah.
jealous when I see everybody like at all these events. And I'm just like over here. Hi. But I'm so honored to be able to consider you a friend, and I feel like again you've had an impact on me in ways that I wasn't expecting. So thank you. And you're so kind, like sending me the shot glass for Christmas. Like it just totally made my day. And my son was like, "Can we put milk in it?" I'm like, "Well, you can have milk." But
Yeah, I
it was
had to
just
get two, but one for my son, and then he had
yeah,
milk, and I had, something else.
something that wasn't
Put
milk,
together and tied it with a milk that the body good.
right?
Then
Yes.
I was okay, okay.
But I'm so proud of you for doing this too. I think it's like super cool. And yeah, I feel very blessed to know you. So just thank you so much for everything.
Anytime. I just wanted to thank you for your time and for coming on and chatting. And we will chat more at the end
Yes.
of the month.
Yes. Sounds good.
Have a
Uh,
great evening. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you. You too. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.